Thank you very much for coming today. My name is Don Newman. I am the small business manager of the Small Business Advocacy Unit within the division of, within the Business Action Center, which is part of the Secretary of State's office. So today is one in a series of webinars that we're doing over the next couple of weeks, discussing some of the resources that are available for you to recover from the COVID and and to grow your business. This is an offshoot of a program we've done in the past, in-person event called Resources for Small Businesses. But under the circumstances, we've decided to do this in a series of webinars instead. So that today's topic is going to be the technical assistance opportunities that are available to you. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but first I just want to give you a very high-end overview of who the Business Action Center is. We are the business advocates for the state. So as I mentioned, I'm a small business advocate. I help small businesses find resources. We also have a unit that is business advocates, without the small in there, and they work with medium and large businesses, also small businesses, on projects. So you're trying to build a building or relocate your business, they can help you through that process. We also have a global business advocacy unit that can help you become an exporter, and actually have a state trade expansion program grant that's available for businesses that want to become exporters, want to attend trade shows and things like that. I'm not going to get into that today, but if you have any questions on accessing any of those resources, you'll have at the end of the session today, you'll have my contact information. You can reach out to me. But today we're going to talk about technical assistance. What are the resources that are available to you to help you get technical assistance? One thing that we're not going to mention today is the technical assistance available through procurement. If you want to become a government contractor, why are we not talking about that? Well, because that was a special series, webinar that we did in our last series, in our last session. So all of these will be up on our website eventually, and I will again give you that link at the end. So you can go back and look at that series about what all the resources that are available to you for government procurement. So I'm not going to waste too much more time talking about me. You can always reach out to me and have some conversations, and we can see what kind of resources you need, what kind of what organizations are out there that can help you. And I'm glad to make those kinds of connections for you, help you with regulatory issues with the government, all of those challenges that a small business owner faces. My job is to make sure that you can access all the resources that you need to overcome those challenges. So I'm going to get right into our speakers. Our first speaker is Lillian Morrow. She's the Regional Director of the Small Business Development Center at the College of New Jersey. I've known Lillian for quite some time, and her predecessor. I knew her when she was still the Assistant Regional Director. And if I'm not mistaken, and Lillian, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but she was the first counselor hired for a Small Business Development Center that was able to provide Spanish language services. If not the first in New Jersey, she's definitely the first at the College of New Jersey. And that was a great advance that they were able to make in servicing the business community in the state of New Jersey. So she still is very active with support of our Spanish-speaking business community. So having said that, I'm going to turn this over to Lillian. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. Thank you for a nice introduction. And I wasn't the first one as a Spanish-speaking consultant, but I was hired to specifically develop the Spanish program. They were trying to reach out to my community, and it was not easy. It's not easy as it looks. So I was really I developed the program in Mercer County, and it's one of the successful programs for the Spanish community right now. And thank you, Don. Hi, everyone. Thank you to the New Jersey Business Action Center for inviting us to participate in today's webinar about the technical assistance opportunities for businesses in New Jersey. It is a pleasure to be here, and I'm here to represent the network. I'm here to represent the New Jersey Small Business Development Center Network, also known as a NJSBDC. You may go to the next slide, please. The New Jersey Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses to be more successful. It goes from aspiring entrepreneurs to established businesses. Our expert advisors can help you to succeed in any area of your business without any cost for you. The New Jersey Small Business Development Center provides business-related assistance and knowledge to help entrepreneurs to start, run, and grow their business. We also offer training throughout the year. The majority of them are at no cost to you. Some of them may have a low cost, but really we are very reasonable. But most of them, I guess 90% of them are really at no cost to you. You may go to the next slide, please. The NJSBDC mission, we are here to provide comprehensive assistance to small and medium businesses to maximize opportunities for growth and generate economic impact throughout the state of New Jersey. The impact of the SBDC on the economy is large. We help launch hundreds of businesses. We help to create thousands of jobs, contributing to the growth of the local, state, and national economy. We also help entrepreneurs to fulfill the dream of becoming a business owner. We know how hard it is, but we have experts that can help you to feel that dream. We also assist businesses to remain competitive, challenging global economy, especially now during these pandemic times. We also develop a total program focused on the COVID-19 pandemic and how businesses can go through the pandemic. The next slide, please. The NJSBDC network is the largest statewide provider of entrepreneurial services and play a very important role in the economy of New Jersey by assisting entrepreneurs in all the stages of businesses, since the ones who are looking to just start the business to the ones who are more established and looking to expand. We also work with firms in all different industry sectors and connect you with all the resources available. All the SBDC's offices are located within a college or government entity, so all the business owners have access to those resources. We also provide access to a national network of more than 1,000 centers, SBDCs nationwide. And next slide, please. We serve in all industries and all the stages of the business owners. As I mentioned to you from the very beginning, from the ones who are looking just to start and come with the idea, we help them to develop a business plan and create that the dream, fulfill the dream of becoming a business owners, to the ones who are more established and looking to expand, promote, go bigger. So we help them to going from retailers, manufacturers, wholesalers, those on procurement looking to do business at the state, federal or local level. We have consultants that can work with you individually. We also help at the restaurants, beauty salons, retailers, as I mentioned to you. So we covered all different industries. Next slide, please. The New Jersey Small Business Development Center was established by Congress in 1978 and as one of the first national SBDC pilots. So now we have more than 40 years of providing experience of providing services for the business community. Today, the New Jersey Small Business Development Center network is composed by 12 full service regional centers and additional and more than 20 affiliate offices, 28 to be exact, throughout the state of New Jersey. Each center is hosted by an affiliate 2 or 4 year college of university business program, and to help the small business community. And also, all our services are partially funded by the Small Business Administration, by the Business Action Center, by other state agencies, as well as host institutions, private entities. We also work with local chambers, economic development organizations, business incubators, and also other lending institutions. Next slide, please. We also had access to a national network, as we are more than 1,000 centers nationwide. And to share some of the impact at the nationwide level, we create a new business every 26 minutes. We also create a new job every 6 minutes, and $100,000 in financing is provided every 9 minutes. And just in the impact here in New Jersey, I would like to share with you that from October 2019, October 1st, 2019 through September 30, 2020, we counseled over 5,000 clients, and 67% of them were established businesses. About more than 11,000 individuals and small business owners attended training seminars, events. A total of more than 25,000 total jobs were supported and received assistance from the SBDC. And we facilitate almost 145 million in total finances for the clients here in New Jersey. So really, we help businesses throughout the state, and we do have our experts consultants that can help you to overcome these challenges. Next slide, please. What are the services that the SBDC provide? We do have one-to-one counseling. We also, throughout the year, we provide training, webinars. We also have access to resources available to our entire network, and we offer also specialized programs through the headquarter levels and also through the each center level. Next slide, please. The main, one of the services that we provide is a one-to-one confidential counseling. As I mentioned to you, it's a no cost to you. You can request it at any time. There are also no limits in hours and how many hours you can receive. You can continue receiving the assistance as long as you follow also the recommendations and suggestions for our experts. We discuss your ideas, we identify problems and find the solutions for you. We all share knowledge and information, and we provide advice and guidance. We provide access to any university faculties and research and development expertise. Next slide, please. Also, we provide training throughout the year. At this point, due to the pandemic, we all offer webinars. Hopefully in the near future, we can go back and resume to our normal activities. We do offer seminars, business expos, conferences. We offer a range from different topics, from the very beginning to the most advanced, from how to do a business plan, marketing plan. We all cover topics and digital marketing, how to develop a website. And also we offer QuickBooks, finance trainings, loan package development. Those who are looking to expand or obtain a loan, we help you to connect with different lenders. All the training is presented to you by certified, qualified experts. Either they work at the college or host institution we are located. Also, we have the help and assist our government experts and private sector professionals. Next slide, please. We provide resources, all the resources available from our network. From the host institution, we have access to extensive libraries, to databases, key directories, government publications, any planning guides. We offer that resources available for the business owner. We also have a tool that we use that often for the market research, sbdc.net, sbdcnet.org, that is available to all our clients. If you're looking for a market research in a specific industry, we can provide you with detailed information, and it's at no cost to you. We also help you to connect with businesses with private sector sources, such as attorneys, accountants, lenders, and many more. Next slide, please. Also, throughout our headquarters, we do have specialty programs. One of the new programs that we have, we just had it or launched it last year, is the New Jersey Drive Upgrade Your Business. This program is designed to help enhance your business management skills for your business success, to grow potential, and post-pandemic resiliencies. We also have the international program. We provide one-to-one counseling and a 3-class course covering the essential aspects of the international trade. We also add additional workshops throughout the year. For those in technology and commercialization, this program focuses on providing guidance and assistance in pursuing a small business innovation research and transfer technology grants. This program has the consultants that they can provide assistance in the proposal preparation, and also to review with the specific suggestions and how to apply and how to be competitive in order to win these grants. We also have a specialty procurement program that we offer one-to-one counseling services to New Jersey small, minority, and women business owners. We are trying to help businesses to be able to get into to be profitable and sustainable into the federal, local, and public government level. That is also one-to-one counseling at no cost to you. Next slide, please. So if you are looking to start your own business, increase your sales, if you want to look into certifications, government certifications or government contracts, you want to reduce costs, improve your cash flow, have questions regarding to import and export and exporting, contact the SBDC. We are really happy to assist you, and don't delay in contact our office. We can help your business to grow. And next slide, please. For additional information, please feel free to visit our website at www.njsbdc.com. You can also contact us at 973-353-1927. You can visit one of our 12 locations in the state of New Jersey. Remember, we are more than 28 affiliate offices in the state of New Jersey. We're happy to assist. And we also offer, I would like to mention, bilingual services in Spanish as well. Thank you, Don. We are really happy to assist. And any questions, please do not hesitate to contact our office.
Thank you very much, Lillian. I wanted to, before I introduce the next speaker, I did want to mention that if you do have questions, post them in the chat. We're going to try to get to as many questions, either directly responding in the chat, or at the end, we're going to have a section of Q&A. So hopefully we'll have time to get to everyone's questions. If not, you'll have our contact information so that you can reach back out. Our next speaker is Michael Glicksman. He's representing SCORE today, which is the Service Corps of Retired Executives, but everyone just refers to them as SCORE nowadays. Michael was the founder and the owner of Viviflex Seals until he retired in 2004. And like many of the SCORE counselors, he dedicated himself after that to public service through his volunteer work with Eagles Business Network International, with the Salvation Army, EVA's Village Workforce Development, but also with SCORE. One of the differences between SCORE and some of the other organizations that we deal with is that they are volunteers. So their dedication to development of the small business community is not a professional, they're not being paid to do this. They're doing it as a volunteer, which just tells you how much they care about you and how they have your interest and heart in the services that they provide. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Michael Glicksman.
Yes, one quick correction, because Don made me seem older than I am. I retired in 2014, not 2004. But
sorry about that.
Since my retirement, I found different volunteer opportunities, and this is certainly the best one. And SCORE, I've been a mentor for 3.5 years, and we truly are for the life of your business, and I'll explain why. Next slide, please. So what is SCORE? We're a nonprofit resource partner of the SBA. The SBA funds probably 50% of our budget. And we provide free, confidential, unlimited business advice. So it's unlimited. I have clients that I've met with 2 or 3 times, and some I'm still meeting with 2 years later. We provide one-on-one mentoring. Obviously, it's by Zoom now. And many times we'll have 2 or 3 mentors in a session, because I might need a lawyer, I might need an accountant, I might meet different people with different expertise. So in a sense, in my chapter, which covers Bergen and Passaic, you're getting the experience of 70 different volunteers who can come and help you. And then we do a lot of workshops. We do workshops with community colleges, networking groups, and small business partners and banks. And many webinars we do ourselves. And then on our website, score.org, we have literally hundreds of business tools and templates that you can just read over and help you with your business. Next slide, please. And at SCORE, just to give you a background, we have 300 chapters around the United States with over 10,000 volunteers. And again, we all have expertise in a variety of industries. So anywhere you are in the United States, you'll probably find a SCORE chapter. Next slide, please. And just to give you an idea how SCORE Mentor can help you, but actually mentoring is really important, whether it's SCORE or somebody else. So if you're in business 2 years, statistics show that you'll be successful 60% of it, 67% of the time with a mentor, 87% of the time, 67% of the time without a mentor, and 87% of the time with a mentor. 5 years, you'll be successful 50% of the time without a mentor, and 70% with a mentor. So over 10 years, you show a 30-40% improvement when you do have a mentor. Next slide. And just to give another idea of how we have a huge impact throughout the United States. In 2020, we helped create over 46,000 new businesses. We created over 120,000 new jobs, and we increased business revenue by 58%. So we are more than giving back our tax dollars to the community. Next slide. And who do we help? Well, you can see by the breakdown, many of the times in my experience, we're helping people that are in their first generation of entrepreneurs in their family. So a lot of them are women, a lot of them, 46% of minorities and 9% veterans. Because unlike myself, some of these groups, they don't have a mother or father or uncle that was in business. Plus, I think it's also better to be mentored by somebody who's more objective, as we are, rather than a relative or a friend who might have prejudgments. Next slide. And again, to repeat this, how we can help you: free mentoring, educational sessions on a wide range of topics, from business planning, marketing, social media, financing, online resources, articles, templates, blogs, and if you go to our site, store.org, you can find all sorts of online tools such as business plans and guides. Next slide. A new kind of mentoring we had to adjust to this year was COVID pandemic assistance. You know, when the pandemic started in March, all of a sudden we got a multitude of people coming to us on, well, how do I apply for PPP loans? And luckily we have 3 or 4 accountants who are very good at that. So we steer people that way. So that was a great way that we helped, and we kind of adjusted ourselves to the pandemic. We also we do 3 or 4 workshops a month. So we designed our workshops around rebooting or reinventing yourself during the pandemic. And we proved to be very helpful that way. And of course, we went back to many of our existing clients who had restaurants, service businesses, and other businesses that were affected by the pandemic, and we helped them make those adjustments. So just like everybody else in the United States, we adjusted ourselves to the pandemic. Next slide, please. And just to illustrate how SCORE is available for small business owners, we'll help you with sound business planning. You know, we'll look at your business plan and we'll help you put it together. Product and service review. I helped a client recently. He had, 30 different products, but only 15 were profitable. So we looked at that and looked to see whether the services the client is offering are viable. And then we have, like I said, we have accountants and other financial people that'll give you financial insights, but we also help you look at our profit margins. One of the biggest mistakes I've run into in the last 3 years of mentoring is clients will come to me and say, yeah, I'm breaking even. And I'll say, well, are you drawing a salary? No, but I'm breaking even. Well, they're not breaking even. So we might help you and make you realize certain things you don't realize for yourself. And then we'll give you marketing and promotional recommendations. And now we're trying to get more mentors that have social media experience. Many of us are, older generation, we didn't have that, but now we can help you with your social media marketing, your promotional ideas, and other items. We help you with your vendor relationships. Many people don't realize that they need 2 or 3 vendors for every product. And how to develop those relationships, how to negotiate them. We can provide all sorts of advice, again, because we have 70 different volunteers. And this is another important aspect that's overlooked. We help you find business partnerships. And that doesn't mean someone who's going to be a partner in your actual business, but people who have similar target markets. A financial investor might partner up with an insurance advisor. I manufacture computer accessories, so I partnered up with people who sell accessories that weren't competing with mine. It's a great way to exchange ideas and referrals. So partnerships are really important. And again, it's not the joining somebody to join your business. And then many of the people we help are with exit planning, valuing your business and figuring out the best way to sell it, maybe give it to family members. Next slide, please. And we also help you in the pre-startup or startup phases. I've had lots of clients that simply have an idea and we'll help them figure out if it's viable. So we'll confidentially, again, review your idea. We'll help you create a small business plan. Probably when you're at the idea stage, you just want a short business plan or an outline. And then tell people or give them the sources how to apply for licenses, LLCs, negotiate a real estate lease and purchase various equipment, maybe purchase or lease, which is better. And very important, the most frequent question I get is finding the right accountant and finding the right lawyer. So one tool that we just came up with is we have about 15 questions you want to ask a potential accountant before you hire them. And we also are developing, we have it, it's not quite complete, a professional referral source with professionals that will provide a half-hour of free consultation and are vetted by us. And in general, we'll help you, advise you on your business negotiations. A lot of people don't have experience, so and we all do. Next slide, please. And I have some clients that have been in business 10, 15 years, 5 years. And sometimes they just need a little guidance. Sometimes they need a little accountability. And sometimes they need to be told stuff they already know. So HR challenges are really big. Because I know in my business, there were people that really weren't productive and I didn't quite know how to lay them off or ease them out, or I didn't always know how to get the most out of my people. Succession plans for key managers. You don't want to have to rely on one person, even your right-hand person, to provide you with everything. Again, supply chain management, that kind of goes back to vendors and intellectual property, how to file the right attorney for a trademark, patent pending. And again, a lot of clients want to see how they can value their business or build their business so they can then exit. I've had clients that really weren't making a lot of money, so we figured out how they could build up their business so eventually sell it. Next slide, please. And when I initially meet with a client, I like to give them some quick tools and tips, some marketing basics, some lists of products you might need to start your business, what we refer to as the business model canvas, and then provide them with links to the various school resources. Next slide. So here are some simple starter marketing basics that sometimes people don't realize because they're so busy doing everything else. You obviously need a logo, a business card, domain name, email address. Again, these are all startup. A website with a responsive design and a shopping cart if you're going to sell product on it. Everyone anywhere should have a LinkedIn account. And of course, most businesses should have social media. And very important, which I didn't do in my business, but of course it was 30 years ago, I didn't really have contact management software. Anybody you meet anywhere, a networking group, a restaurant, anywhere, you want to get that name and put it into your contact management software. You never know who's going to be your customer or who's going to refer you to a potential customer. So you want to be able to come home immediately and put that name into a contact manager software like Constant Contact, and then you'll be able to send newsletters, product offerings, specials, seasonal offerings, all sorts of things. So those are really important items, and also a template design for your email marketing newsletter and offers. That could be a little later. Next slide. Other required items, this might be in the second stage, would be brochures, spec sheets, sales letters, listings in local directories. I really believe in this. There's so many places you can list for free or for a nominal charge. And again, sometimes business is like throwing darts. So you want to reach out to as many people as you can and in many places. So I always, in my business, I search for free directories and try to beat on. And networking, especially now in the Zoom era, everybody has an hour they can do at 7:30 a.m. or at lunchtime. And maybe you're an international company, maybe you don't think networking can help, but you never know who you're going to meet. Some of my best ideas in business were just from meeting other people at trade shows. I even got product ideas from other people. And then you're going to want signage, maybe print advertising, and find a good packaging source. Again, that's the place where maybe our professional services referral will come in handy. Next slide, please. This is probably my most frequently used tool, and I like to show it to almost every client. People are afraid of the 40, 50-page business plans, and many banks will say do a business plan first. But this is like a mini business plan. It's done in a chart form with just bullets. It's the business model canvas. Some of the important factors like value propositions. What are you selling to? Why is your product better? What are you offering? Your costing structure, which is at the bottom left. Your customer segments is really important on the top right. No, who are your targets? People sometimes don't know who their targets are, and it's very important that you identify them. And then your revenue streams. Are you going to get some of your revenue from internet sales? Are you going to do it live, direct, through distributors? and also the key resources. So I have another sheet with definitions, detailed definitions, but this is a really important tool that you should use when you're starting your business. Probably the first or second thing you do. Next slide, please. And just to give you a little background about our workshops, we have a really strong workshop program. They were all free in this Zoom era. Previously, when they were live, we might have charged $10. But we cover, I urge you to get on our mailing list. And our workshops cover every aspect: startup growth, sales and marketing, operations, human resources, finance and legal. And we've even done panels. I did a panel on business mistakes. I have somebody doing a panel presentation next month on side businesses, which is really important, side hustles. You know, a lot of people work full time or raising family, but they have a sewing business, or they have a multi-level marketing business. So that's another aspect that's really important. Next slide, please. And again, I want to repeat the online resources because I'd love to see all of you take advantage of them. We have online courses and workbooks. We have a blog that gives advice at score.org/blog. And we have a monthly newsletter that goes out for local events and entrepreneurs. So again, I advise you to go to score.org and get on our mailing list, our email list. Next slide. We're at SCORE, my chapter, we cover again Bergen and Passaic, and we have 70 volunteers and about 55 mentor volunteers. So we're always looking for new volunteers. And what I found, because this is probably the best job I ever had, is I learned a lot. We have training modules, and I've co-mentored with many experienced SCORE mentors who are engineers, lawyers, and just people who've been around the block. And I've learned so much the last 3 years. And then we have continuing educational opportunities at our monthly meeting. Every monthly meeting, most monthly meetings, we have a speaker speak about social media or marketing or accounting. And they tend to be outside people that come in. We also have national webinars once or twice a month. So there's a lot of learning. You know, I retired in 2014, so I didn't know much about social media, but I've learned a lot. I didn't even know about QuickBooks that much, and I've learned a lot. And one thing good is you don't have to be retired. Don't think of it as a retiree group. We have people as young as 25, 30 that are subject matter experts or just pipe in when there's a social media item. And then we have volunteers who do other things too. Next slide. And again, I didn't want to jump into it in the last slide, but we're not just about mentoring. We have subject matter experts. So in our group, we have a gentleman who just advises on import-export, another person that advises on social media. And then we have some people that just present workshops because they're great speakers, great presenters, and entertaining. And then we have event coordinators, and we have administrators. We have a volunteer coordinator, we have a secretary, and we have other people that help us along. Next slide. And I want to leave you with some final thoughts. One quote is from John C. Maxwell, and this illustrates why you really need mentoring, whether by SCORE or anybody else. John Maxwell said, "One of the greatest values of mentors is the ability to see ahead what others cannot see and to help them navigate a course to their destination." And for the second quote, I deleted the famous quote and I put in my own because I learned a lot through my mistake. And my quote is, "If I had utilized a business mentor in my early years, I would have saved thousands of hours of trial and error and thousands of dollars." So one thing I could talk to you about is mistakes. I started out maybe I was 30 years old and I flew by the seat of my pants. And if I wish I had an objective mentor, and also the best part about having a SCORE mentor is you're accountable, because I leave a session by giving the client 3 or 4 items that they have to do as homework. And they know they're going to meet with me 2, 3, 4 weeks, and they have to have that completed. So they have to be accountable. That's probably the most valuable thing. And also the other valuable thing, since everybody in small business is going in a million directions, we really help them organize and prioritize. So those are the three most important things I want to leave you with: prioritize, organize, and accountability. Next slide. And thank you for your time. And I was happy to be able to speak. And I really urge you to volunteer or apply for a mentor. If you want to get a mentor, you go to our site, Northeast New Jersey, northeastnj.score.org. And you can apply there to visit workshops, to become a mentor, or to become a volunteer. And of course, there's my email address and my phone number. Anybody visiting this workshop can call me or email me at any time. But thanks again for your time. I'm done.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to have some questions at the end, so I'm going to try to move forward with the presentation, but we will answer all your questions at the end. Next up is Abra Watson from the Taxation University. She's been with taxation since 1999, and she's been an instructor since 2008. So, when you hear people from taxation, your first reaction is probably to run away. Tax man is after you, or tax person. But Taxation University is not, they're the good guys. What they try to do is provide you and the people within taxation with good, positive information about what they do and what your obligations are, so that you don't get chased down by the compliance people down the road when you are not in compliance. So, Abra's Abra is a very good person to listen to when it comes to what your obligations are when it comes to tax issues. So take it away, Abra.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Abra Watson, and I am from the New Jersey Division of Taxation. And Don stole my first line because he says, whenever we introduce taxation, people try to avoid us. And yes, that is exactly what happens. You can go right to that next slide. Whenever people hear taxation, they think, how can I avoid them? When we do these type of presentations face to face, as soon as they announce me, I see people start looking at the floor, start looking at the ceiling, almost as if they're going to catch some kind of disease from making eye contact with me. Well, I am here to tell you that that is not the case. We are essential, and you can go to the next slide. Taxation is really important for your success. I would say that we're really one of the most important pieces to your success. And you might be thinking, well, how is that? Next slide. Well, there are a couple of different areas I'm going to talk about. And the first one is business formation and registration. It is essential that you set up your business properly. The reason? Well, if you want to be recognized as a legal entity, you need to go through the registration process. Until you do that, you're not a legal entity. If you want to bid for public contracts, government contracts, you want to do business with the state, you want to do business with your local government or the federal government, you have to be a legit legal business entity. So that formation process, that getting set up, is essential. It's also essential to be a legal entity so that you can use our legal system. So what do I mean by that? Well, you're doing business, you have a customer you did a bunch of work for, but they're not paying you. How do you get the money? Well, normally you could sue them. You could take them to court and sue them. But guess what? If you try to do that and you're not a legal entity, you may not be able to use our legal system to collect an unpaid debt. So it's very, very important to make sure that once you've made up your mind This is the business I want to do. Once you've made up your mind as to the type of business you want to set up, it's important to make sure that you go through the registration steps. So next slide. So you might be thinking, well, formation sounds so formal. And yeah, you're right. And you might think it's really a difficult process. But I'm here to tell you it's not that bad. It's really 3 simple steps, and you want to make sure you do all 3. Step number 1 is I need to form. I need to create the business. So I go to the Division of Revenue. That's going to cost me $125, but it's a one-time fee for me to formally get my business set up, get my business on the record. I like to look at creating a business like having a baby. While you are pregnant, the baby is an idea, right? But until the baby is actually born, the baby doesn't exist. Well, it's kind of like that with a business. You have an idea, you have something you want to do, but until you actually put it down on paper, get that certificate, that birth certificate, certificate of authority, certificate of formation. There's a whole lot of different names that mean the same thing. Until you get that, it doesn't exist. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is you need to obtain an ID number for your business, the Federal Employer Identification Number. That's something that's totally free. You go to irs.gov, you get it. It's a matter of a few minutes online, and you get the ID number for your business. I like to think of this again. When you have the baby, what do? You get a Social Security number for the baby so that you can begin to include the child on your tax return, so on and so forth. Same thing with your business. And then number 3 is you complete the online NJ Reg form. Now that form is extremely important because, again, I work for the Division of Taxation. That form tells us, taxation, what you're doing. You tell us who you are. You tell us what taxes you're going to collect. You tell us even how to tax your business income by how you fill in that form. Now, an example of the importance of these steps is right now, I'm working with the Economic Development Authority. There's lots of incentives, lots of things that they have available, grants. There's money out there for you. But in order to take advantage of the money, you have to actually be a legal entity. You have to be an actual business. So you have to do all 3 steps. So when speaking with the representative from EDA yesterday, he has a client that is trying to get some leasing help, a leasing incentive that they're offering. And he says, Aber, they can't get it. They're getting some kind of notification from New Jersey. Can you look into it? Yep, I look into it. Guess what? The business owner did step 1, he did step 2, but he didn't do step 3. We need step 3 done in order to know who you are and what you're doing. Next slide. So again, before we go on to sales tax, one thing I want to say about that is we couldn't get his client the tax clearance certificate, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, but we couldn't get him what he needed because he hadn't done all 3 steps. I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. So what else would you need the Division of Taxation for, Taxation University specifically? Well, what about your sales tax education? Are you paying too much sales tax? Did you know that under certain situations, certain circumstances, you should not be paying sales tax as the business? And under certain situations or certain types of products that you might sell, you may not be required to collect sales tax. There are certain situations where normally the product is taxable, but because you're a business owner using that product in a certain way, you might be exempt. So, what exemption form should I use? Is it even exempt? And if I have the exemption form, how should I fill it in? These are all questions that we can help you with. Also, are you filing properly? So I filed my registration form. I said that I was going to collect sales tax, but you know what? I haven't really fully gotten off the ground yet, so I don't have any sales. Do I still need to file? When's the return due? These are all questions that we can help you with. Next slide. What about looking for funding? Now, this is what I was talking about with my EDA contact. He's reaching out to me saying, hey, we need this tax clearance because we really want to give this guy this grant. We really want to give him the money. Tax clearance is essential. What tax clearance is, it's a statement from the Division of Taxation that says, yep, they're compliant. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing, so go ahead and give them the money. That's really what it is. It's no different than us on an individual level going to a car dealership saying, we want that car, and they're running a credit check to make sure, are you someone that pays your bills? If you're someone that pays your bills, sure, we'll give you the loan so that you can drive away with the car. It's the same thing on the business end. The tax clearance is kind of like a credit check per se for your business so that they know, hey, it's good to go ahead and give this person the grant because they've already demonstrated that they are compliant with New Jersey's requirements. So to obtain the tax clearance, all of your filings have to be up to date. All of the taxes need to be paid. But remember in my example, I was telling you about the situation I had yesterday where the business did step 1, they did step 2, but they didn't do 3. So if you don't do 3, and remember, that's that NJ Reg form, that's where you're telling us who you are, what you're doing, are you collecting sales tax, do you have employees? You're telling us all of that on that form. If we don't have that form, then how can we vouch for you that you are tax compliant? We can't. And how can you be tax compliant if you don't know what your tax responsibilities are? Good questions, right? All right, next slide. So you have questions. You're not really sure what to do. That's what we are here for. You have questions. I'm here to tell you we got a workshop for that. And if we don't currently have a workshop, we can create one specifically for you. So next slide. So right now, our workshops are all virtual. Prior to the pandemic, of course, they were mostly in person. But I'm kind of liking the virtual format, I have to say. I feel like we're able to reach more people through the virtual format. So take a look at our schedule. Our schedule is online at that address right there. We've also shortened our sessions because so many people are working remotely and they've got children and they've got pets and they've got all things, a lot of distractions going on around them. So we've shortened them from what was traditionally a 2 to 4 hour session down to 30 to 60 minutes. And we've made them shorter segments. We've kind of divided them up really to be able to accommodate your schedules. We talk about a variety of topics. Business registration. That business registration one is really, really good if you are in the beginning stages. You're not even really sure what type of business structure you want to form. Do I want to become a legal business entity, or would I really just rather start as a sole proprietorship or a partnership? What's the difference between those business types? We really go through them. We talk about the differences so that you are making an informed decision. Reporting business income. We talk about, okay, now you're in business, things are looking good. You're making money. How do I report it? How do I pay tax on it? Well, that all depends on the type of business structure you chose. Are you paying the tax at the business level, or is the income flowing through to you and being reported on your personal tax return? We go over all of that with you. We also talk sales tax. And I kind of gave you some hints on the sales tax slide. We talk about what's taxable, what's not. Did you know there are really only 2 basic sales tax guidelines? And if you understand those 2 guidelines, you're pretty much going to get most of your sales tax questions about what's taxable, right? Come to the workshop. I'm not going to tell you what they are right now. So we have a sales tax workshop. We talk about those 2 basic guidelines. We talk about filing, when the return is due, when you have to file, when you should be paying, all of that we go over. We also have one for online businesses. We talk about some of the legislative changes that have happened over the last few years that affect people conducting business online. Again, we can even do a industry-specific presentation for you if you like. We actually have businesses that call us that say, hey, we're just totally confused and we want to know if you guys can do a workshop for us. We will certainly do that. So we're here for you. And there's something, and I don't want to steal Don's thunder, but I love the story he talks about going to the restaurant. And I'm going to leave that because I don't want to steal that from him, because I want him to share that story. It's a really great story. We are here for you. Your tax dollars have paid for our services. So take advantage of it. Get that tax education, because no matter what, there's two guarantees in life, right? Everybody's heard it: death and taxes. So you really can't escape it. So the best thing to do is to be knowledgeable about it so that you make sure that you're meeting your tax responsibilities. Next slide. So in summary, avoiding us will cost you. It can cost you in penalties. It can cost you in interest charges. And if you avoid us and we discover you, then that means that you're getting tax assessments, which of course, we're going to estimate that your business activity is at the upper end instead of the lower end. So you could have all of that happen. And most importantly, there could be lost opportunities. Is there a limited amount of time for you to take advantage of some type of grant or funding that's available through the EDA or the Small Business Administration? There's money out there. Why not take advantage of it by making sure that you're tax compliant? Get educated. All right. And I think I only have like one more slide. Let's work together. We are here to work with you. See, look, this face, friendly, see, smiling. We are here for you. And I am passionate about this. I am passionate about making sure people understand what it is that they need to do so that you can make more money. You make more money, guess what? Taxation gets more money. The state of New Jersey gets more money. That makes our roads better, our schools better, our healthcare better. You name it, it benefits everyone all around. And I think the last slide is our contact information. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Don, we're available on social media. You see all of this? We are everywhere, people. Look us up. And one thing that I will tell you is that we're always lacking in contacts and friends. And we're just, people don't really, again, they try to avoid us. But I'm asking you to sign up, be our friend, so that you can get all of the information you need firsthand. And I think there's only one more slide. Yes. If you have questions, again, your tax dollars are paying for us. Contact us here at Taxation University. That's our email address. A lot of us are still working kind of remotely. Some of us are in the office, some aren't. So I give you our email address to make sure that you get someone to respond to you. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abra. And since you mentioned the story, I'll tell it very quick. We're running very late, so we're going to get to Jamel in a minute. But the story that she mentioned is that, you know, a lot of these services, including the Small Business Development Center, the SCORE, they're all taxpayer supported. So you already pay for them. So take advantage of them. And the restaurant stories, you wouldn't go into a restaurant, put your money on the table, and then leave without eating your meal. And that's what you do when you don't take advantage of these resources. And your competitor will be happy to come in and eat your lunch for you. And that's what happens when you leave that sitting on the table. So please take advantage of the of some of the services that you're hearing about today. It's to your benefit. So our last presenter is from the Latin American Economic Development Association, but specifically their Women's Business Center program. Jamila Powell is the manager of the Women's Business Center. They have a multilingual, multicultural organization that opens the doors for opportunities for individuals who face barriers, starting, operating small businesses by helping you provide with the necessary resources. So They are a little known organization, I find, when I go out and speak to the business community. There's 2 women business centers in the state, but I'll let Jamila talk about that. So, Jamila, thank you very much for doing your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate it. So good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Jamelia Powell, and I am the program manager with the LAIDA Women's Business Center. So just to give you a little bit of history about LAIDA, you can transfer to the next slide. So who we are, who we care about, and what we do. So our host organization is LAIDA, and much like Don said, although we've been here for 34 years, there are many people who have never heard of our organization. So when it comes to LAIDA, our organization is a nonprofit. We are actually located in the city of Camden. So if anyone is familiar with Rutgers University or the municipal buildings within the city of Camden, we're located in the downtown area within the city of Camden. And we cover Southern New Jersey, and we've been doing this, LAIDA, since 1987. So who we care about businesses who face obstacles to starting or operating a business, as well as accessing capital. So for our organization, when we initially started, when you heard Don say the Latin American Economic Development Association, it really started its roots in providing services and resources to business owners who were coming from Spanish-speaking countries and coming to the United States and not finding resources where they may have started a business in their home country and were coming here trying to set up a business in the United States. So since then, I tell people we have evolved. So I always say I'm the poster child because while my Spanish, I do speak some Spanish, so I would say un poquito español. We do service other business owners outside of the Hispanic speaking population. So we have evolved over our 34-year history. So what we do, we target individuals, once again, who are interested in starting or growing a business. They may have some barriers to accessing capital. So we do that through our own resources, but we also leverage our community partner engagement. So interestingly, I always say when I'm at in-person events, and I'll say the same here, I have worked with a number of the organizations in the room. So I've worked with ABRA, I've worked with SCORE, I've worked with our local small business development centers to leverage all of the resources that you all have available to you. So the goal is really to just find everything that you need to ensure that your business can start, operate, and remain sustainable. Next slide, please. So with the LAIDA Women's Business Center, who we specifically are, the Women's Business Center, it was established in 2016 with the assistance of the Small Business Administration. So we are partially funded by the Small Business Administration to offer services very specifically for women-owned businesses. Because what we were finding here with the host organization, LAIDA, that many of our participants were women business owners who were facing other obstacles to opening a business outside of just those regular obstacles. They may have been mothers, they may have been caregivers. So you'll find that there are other dynamics that you have to address outside of that person just starting and operating a business. So these are just some of our women entrepreneurs, some of the people who have taken advantage of our services. Next slide. So the Women's Business Center really wants to empower women to realize their potential. So we do that through a number of ways. So much like many of my counterparts here on the call today, the goal is to really meet you where you are. So if you're in the idea phase, if you are 10 years in business, 20 years in business, the goal is really to meet you where you are, find out what your goals are for the business, really do a 360 assessment of you and the business to ensure that we are creating an action plan and goals that are realizing your goals and helping you really sustain your business as you grow. So we're dedicated to women entrepreneurs, but I will always say we do not turn men away, but our focus is women entrepreneurs. So we do this capacity building and training through the things that you see here, the various services. So these are some of the services that we offer. We offer a Jumpstart series, our Women's Business Academy. We have an online academy, seminars and networking, as well as one-on-one coaching. And I'll talk a little bit about each of them in the upcoming slides. So next slide, please. So our online academy is actually called the Dream Builder. So we have it in two parts. So for many of our women entrepreneurs who cannot get to our location or do not have the time because they may be managing a business, or they may actually be be at home with their family and managing the business at the same time, we do offer some online services. So our Dream Builder program is an internet-based module that assists someone with actually creating a business plan. So it really is self-paced. It's 13 online modules that cover any thoughts about starting a business, anywhere from marketing, finance, and accounting. So when you see Financing Your Dream, our Financing Your Dream program very specifically talks about the finances and resources you would need to get that business started and up and off the ground. Our Jumpstart series is actually a 5-week program that's very much dedicated to someone who is either in the idea phase or they've actually started a business and they may be working from a side hustle trying to become self-employed. So with that that Jumpstart series, we talk about business basics, which essentially is the ABCs of starting a small business. So an overview of everything that you need to consider when you're actually starting your business. Then we have some workshops that are very specifically dedicated to needs that we see women entrepreneurs come across. So work-life balance and time task management. So really talking about balancing all of the things that you have to do as an entrepreneur with all of the things you may have to do as a woman who may take on other responsibilities. Negotiation skills. So we think that's very much important because what we find is that women sometimes lack the confidence to go in and really negotiate for themselves and negotiate the deals. So we want to talk about negotiation skills. And then marketing and credit management, because we think those tools, of course, are important to any business, regardless of the business type, really looking at those things from a standpoint of what you can use for your business. Next slide, please. And then we have our Women's Business Academy. So our Women's Business Academy is our signature program. It's offered one time a year. It's a 9-week program. So we always liken it to a mini MBA because it really is intense. It's 3 to 4 nights per week for 2.5 hours. So the goal of this program is to really match all of the technical skill that someone may have in an industry. We match it with the business acumen. So what we will always find is that when people start a business, they will say, well, I know how to bake, but it's very much different when you open the bakery. So you understand the front of the house, you understand how to bake the products, you understand how to do the ordering and the inventory, but you haven't thought about the back of the house, how to actually hire personnel, how to actually manage personnel, how to look at your finances. So these are the things that we teach. So it's 32 nights of training, and we bring in people who are either have been in that industry over a number of years or operate their own small business in that industry. So those classes range anywhere from business planning to accounting to marketing, personnel, taxes. So Abra, we don't run away from tax conversations either. So the goal is really to match all of your technical experience with best business practices. And then we have what we call some micro lending programs. So our micro lending programs are very much dedicated to the entrepreneur who may not be able to go to a bank, may not be in a good place to go to a bank at the moment, maybe a startup business and don't need a lot of funding for their business to get started. They may need a small amount of money to get started. We have what we call Smart Start Capital. So Smart Start Capital is 2 parts. It's an educational piece where if someone has an issue with credit management and they need to work on their credit score, we actually give them training and counseling to help them improve their credit score while at the same time giving them a small loan to ensure that they will start working on gaining business credit. They'll start working on spending specifically for the business. So they'll show a history of borrowing on behalf of the business while simultaneously working on their credit. So the goal of this program is, as you go through a few rounds of this program, you will eventually move on to go to a traditional bank for commercial lending. We have other options available as well that I'll talk a little bit about later. So next slide, please. So essentially everything that we do is based on a continuum. So it's from interest or your thoughts of having a business to actually opening for the business. So everything is about capacity building. We try to really do that through all of the programs that we have. We try to be that one-stop source. And I always tell people, if there's something that we can't do in-house, we will always leverage all of our community partners, all of the people that we've worked with to ensure that if we don't have the answer, we'll find the answer for you. So all of our technical assistants can go anywhere from small business seminars, whether it's we teach them or we bring in an expert on the subject matter, business incentive programs, loan packaging. So much like many of the people have talked about today, we have talked about people actually getting a loan. We have, of course, with the pandemic, have been working with people to really get their affairs in order. So when you heard Abra talk about many people not being able to take advantage of these opportunities because they don't have their financial information in order, we help you in that process by starting to give you checklists of, hey, these are the things that you need to gather up when you're going to apply for a business loan, pandemic relief funding, whatever that is, business plan development. So whatever you need for business plan development, it can go from the 1-page business plan all the way up to the 30, 40-page business plan, depending on your needs. Government navigation. We will work with people who are working to be certified minority and women-owned businesses, whether that's at the state, local level, all the way up to the federal level. Looking for a location, we help you in that process. And much like Don said, the beauty of it is that we do at this time provide it in bilingual. So many of our services are and our trainings are in Spanish as well as English. We are actually working on bringing in additional trainers. So we have someone who speaks Portuguese. So we are working to be definitely multilingual, multicultural as an organization. Next slide. So any questions for me? I thank you all for your time. If you are interested in any of our programs or services, you can feel free to contact me. My phone number is here. Our website is here. And we have a ton of other services. If no one has heard of the IDA, the Individual Development Account, we have that as well, where it's a savings match program. So everything that we do is very much targeted to meet small business owners where they are.
Thank you very much. And thank you to all the presenters. We are running a little late on time, but I'm going to very quickly go through a couple of other slides. On this slide, you can see the different ways you can contact the Business Action Center through our website, through the 1-800-JERSEY-7 number, through the business website, the state business website, business.nj.gov. But I want to point out that particular site specifically because there is a live chat feature on that where you can go on, ask your question through the website, through a chat. It is although you may get a little bit of automated response up front, you will start talking to a real live person, not a robot. Everyone, one of the first questions we get asked on there, am I speaking to a real person or are you a robot? You will really be talking to a live person. Since March of last year, we have spoken to 68,000. We've had 68,000 conversations on that website with business owners looking to get COVID relief or and any business questions. So that is really a great way for you to contact us. My email address is on the bottom, donald.newman@sos.nj.gov. On our next slide, there's a list of upcoming webinars in this series. We still have financial resources program scheduled for Thursday. We take a week off, and on the 11th, we have the COVID safety and workforce development program. And on the 13th, which I mentioned earlier, sort of those programs that you may not have ever heard of. What are the advantages of being in a UEZ zone? How can the library help you? What are the how can you work with the Main Street Business Assistance programs through the Department of Community Affairs? So that's a great add to our programs. And there's a link on the bottom of this page that will allow you to get to the registration page. And on my last slide, I believe it's the last slide, is just a thank you. And again, our phone number, 1-800-007. I'm only going to, we're very short on time. We're actually well over time. But I am going to mention one question that we did see in the chat, and that is assistance with the PPP program. I provided a link in the Q&A section to the Capital team, which is a special team that the Small Business Development Center has put together to help businesses that are looking for assistance to apply for some of the COVID relief programs. Only because it's short on time, I didn't turn it over to Lillian to answer that question. But the question was actually directed to Mike to see if SCORE has any financial mentors that are helping people making those applications. So I'm gonna ask him to chime in on that question, if you can.
Hi. Actually, the other resources you mentioned are better sources. I mean, for the most part, we have a few mentors that help them with the application, but I think the SBDC and organizations you mentioned are better. They're better to go there for that help.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that honest answer. That's great. So, and by the way, that's not unusual, that we all work together and we know the strengths and weaknesses of the different organizations. So we tend to direct people to the appropriate organization that best meets their needs. There's no competition between our organizations. Our goal is to make sure that you get the resources that you need. So with that, I am going to bring this to a close with just one more thanks to all of our presenters. One more thanks to the attendees for your patience and again for going a little over time. I am sorry about that, but that's I'm hoping that you found the time that you invested here worthwhile. So thank you.